Humans. To think that a mere word can cause such a strong emotion of hatred. They go about their daily activities pretending to be friendly with the people around them, who are just as, if not more, fake. They somehow manage to delude each other into thinking that this game they are all playing is real, that they care about each other, that they love each other. They are so far gone that they don't realize that every single choice they make is entirely egoistic. Every single decision is carefully calculated in order to achieve as much gain as possible. The only reason humans do good things is because it makes them feel good. If this feeling of satisfaction did not exist, the so-called altruism would have no right to be. Even plants and animals deserve more respect than humans, because they, while being just as egoistic, at the very least do not try to hide it. There is but one way to redeem the whole human race, and that is to annihilate it. These were the exact words I said to my first victim. Having experienced the satisfaction of getting rid of something I despise so much, I quickly realized just how much of an egoistic motive I had had. I felt utterly disgusted with myself, to the point where I was one step away from slitting my own throat with the same knife I had just used to murder an innocent, senile man. I managed to stop myself just in time, and, after some thinking, decided to use my own egoism to destroy everyone else's. The man whom I had killed had no family or friends, and his death only got a small panel in the local newspaper. Since no one needed him, no one cried for him. And that moment I was almost feeling sorry for that poor old man, until I came to my senses and remembered that he is no different to any of the people who so casually ignored his death. When I first saw him, he was sitting on a park bench feeding some birds. Any other person would have thought that it was a nice moment, but for me, it was the most horrible, wretched thing I had ever seen. Normally, I would have walked away, but when I saw his smile, the hatred for humans I had always held inside me suddenly concentrated on that single person and caused me to approach him. Deceiving him was easier than I had initially thought. I told him that I often saw him there alone, and asked if he had any friends or family. Even though he said he didn't have anyone, he had a warm smile on his face. I was truly surprised when the old man went on passionately to talk about a plethora of subjects, and seemed happy to be able to talk to someone. I had to stop him at some point, and I did just that. After about half an hour of talking, I suggested we go get some drinks, and he immediately agreed. We continued our conversation, which was more of a monologue of his, in my car, and just as I had predicted, he didn't even realize that we were getting further and further away from the town, and approaching an old hut of mine that I hadn't used for years. When we finally arrived, I noticed that the old man's expressions was beginning to change. When I stopped the car, it was just confusion, but when he got out of the car and noticed where he was, it immediately turned into suspicion. Finally, when I started walking towards him, the only things left in his eyes were fear and panic. It seemed quite funny to me, considering that he had been so cheerful just minutes earlier. The old man didn't move, almost as though he had given up. The last words I heard from him before knocking him out and tying him up: "Why?"